So today we're taking a look at the new MH Corbin CBC-7000. This is it. This is a unit that's our new flashing beacon controller. You've probably been used to seeing the CBC-6000, which is this unit. So right off the bat, they are physically different, but they perform the same function. They turn on a pair of flashing yellow beacons. So the CBC-6000 had a way of having local and remote control. So if you were on site, you could simply turn on the beacons by flipping the switch all the way up to manual mode, and the lights would turn on and flash. The same function happens on the 7000. You just come over here, you flip the unit, and the beacons turn on and flash. So this simulates what would be up on the signposts. These are actual 8-inch LED beacons. Most beacons on side road are 12-inch, but same scenario. And you have an indicator on here that shows you if the lights are flashing left to right. Just like the old outgoing 6000, you had an indicator, lights are flashing left to right. You'll notice you had a heartbeat light on here indicating the unit was communicating and actually functioning. You have a heartbeat light on here, same way. This one has a display that shows you the IP address to get into the unit. This one also has a display that shows you the IP address, how to get into the unit. You had connections that were on the front of this particular unit, and on this new unit, the connections are actually on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just kind of give you an idea, show you this. Out of the way. I had that up for just your purpose to see what they look like. These are now your connections. You have your Ethernet connection on the bottom. You have your power here on the side. You have your connection for your flashing lights here in the middle. You notice there's a lot of other features on here. Those quick to recognize this device. This is the same type of enclosure and setup that we use for our Connect ITS product. And we're incorporating the same kind of design for our flashing beacon controller. So first thing you'll notice, the new device for the flashing beacon controller, it now is orange on the top and bottom caps, where the Connect ITS is blue. Compared to the CBC-6000, this unit again had a white chassis and had the connections on the front. And it was kind of limited, it only had one connection for Ethernet, and it was located on the very back of the unit here. So with feedback from customers how to improve our design, we went to this type of setup using existing chassis, and now the connections are all on the bottom, which should make it much easier for customers to have access for inputs and outputs, what it can do. But from a very high level, just the basics, it still controls flashing beacons. You hook up your pair of beacons here, turns them off and on. You have your local control switch, in the middle's off, to the left is local, turns them on. When you flip it in the middle, turns them off. When you turn them over to the right, that's the remote mode. And in remote mode, put this back up. You log in through the IP address here, and you can control it remotely. And I'll swing over to my computer and we'll finish this up so you can see what the web interface looks like. If you're used to the web interface for the CBC-6000, it's the exact same. You can log in with a username and password, and once you get into the system, you can actually turn the device off and on. It gives you closed loop feedback, just like the 6000, and it tells you if the device is turned on or turned off. So it's very cool. This is just a newer design of what our products have evolved to. The old 6000 had mounting ears that you would bolt to the side and hang off. The new 7000 has a DIN attachment which bolts onto here, and you actually get a piece of DIN channel with it now. You can mount the DIN into your enclosure, but it doesn't come with a DIN rail. If it already has a DIN rail, you just simply snap this into place. Being this is a new unit, I don't have the little attachment on it yet. That's coming. Just wanted to give you a quick behind the scenes, what we've been working on. This is our latest and greatest CBC-7000. We're really excited about it. Not only is it a smaller footprint than the 6000, it should easily fit in just about any enclosure that's out there, whether it's existing or a new enclosure. Again, all the connections come out the bottom, which should make your cabling very neat and tidy. It still runs on 12 volts. As you'll notice, I'm powering it here from my desktop power supply. So we're excited to bring this to the market. Okay, we're going to start off by showing you the new interface for the CBC-7000. First thing we're going to do is 192.168.50.77. And that takes us to the web interface here. You can see it says CBC-7000. From here we click Login. Okay, and this is the login page. And from here you can see we have the control. From the control page, the control tab. This is just like the old CBC-6000 used to look. From here you have your normal changes. The main one you want to go to here is the remote mode. And it says remote is in the off state, so the flashing beacons are turned off. The lamps are off. So now let's turn that on. So you click toggle. And I'm looking at the beacons across the room and they're flashing. And now it just got the closed loop feedback. And this is showing us right here. The beacons are actually flashing, the relay's on, the remote mode is now on. And if you look here, it's showing us our lamp voltage and current. And this is showing the voltage on each lamp. So this is just an indicator that both your lamps are functioning properly and they're turned on. This is exactly how the CBC-6000 worked. The 7000 works the very same way. So from a user interface, it's the same. If you have a Platinum Horse software package and you're using the CBC-6000s today, the same drivers work for the 7000. So you just create a new station using the 6000 driver. With the 7000, it'll work just fine. We're going to have a new update that'll actually say 7000, but until then, you can still use the CBC-6000 driver with no problem. From here, you can go to Setup. Under Setup is where we will set the serial number. I haven't configured the serial number for this unit yet. It's a brand new unit. I will set that up before it leaves. And one thing under Setup, you have your IP address. You'll notice the IP on here is already set to a static type of IP address. If you want to change this to a DHCP and be on your own network, this is where you would do it. You'd simply check this box, hit save and reboot, and it would come up in DHCP mode, and then it would start looking for an IP address from your network. For now, we're just going to leave it a static IP address. So we go back to control. Our beacons are still flashing. We want to turn them off, so we click toggle. And the unit responds back. Again, this is closed loop feedback. Tells me instantly the relay's off, the remote mode is now off. I'm looking across the room, the beacons are now turned off. So that's it, very simplistic in how it works. This is your web interface, comes with every CBC-7000. You just log in and go. You don't need a separate software package to make this work. But if you have multiple units, it's easier to use the hard Platinum software. You can control groups and it just makes it easier. But if you want to log into each individual unit, you can. You just log in through the web interface here using the IP address, toggle it on, toggle it off, whatever you want to do. And you can check the status and make sure your beacon heads are working properly. If you ever get a report that one of your heads is not working, you can literally go in here and see that, yep, one of the beacon heads is not showing the proper voltage. And you can tell it's definitely not working properly. So it's just a few troubleshooting devices here I wanted to share with you. It's the same interface you've come to know with the CBC-6000. It's just now called the 7000. The chassis is a little different. We're excited to bring it out. We think the smaller footprint is going to be better in the enclosures. The wiring coming out the bottom is going to be a little easier for the people that are installing it. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll put my contact information at the end here. But just wanted to share with you something new and exciting we're coming out with very soon. This is August 28th, 2020. You should see this unit shipping in September of 2020.